This was going to be done yesterday, but who cares? Qualifying 1 was good with a single lap as always. However, a few moments through the final sector meant the gap to the AI was closer than it should have been. I did still come into the bits with a 0.311 second advantage over Verstappen in second, so it is not all bad. This became a 0.043 deficit to Russell after the session, because he went out again. I did not. Qualifying 2 was great as I improved massively compared to my qualifying 1 lap, and it resulted in an absolute dominance in Q2, with a 0.619 second gap to Russell in second place. This became a 0.021 second gap to Norris after the AI's second runs. In qualifying 3, I used my Q1 tyres in order to set a banker lap, which was alright. However, I still had a 0.354 second advantage over Hamilton in second place. This became a massive 1.477 second advantage over Verstappen in second after the second runs, where I improved by 1.1 seconds.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down into Turn 1. This is a 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through the 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out Turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of Turn 9. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. The engineer lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Norris, Charles Leclerc and Ricciardo, Ocon, Bottas, Gasly and Sebastian Vettel, Joe, Albon, Carlos Sainz and Tsunoda, Russell, Schwartzman, Mick Schumacher and Sergio Perez. They've taken a grid penalty. Stroll and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham. Let's have a chat about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Thank you, Grafty, for letting me take over again. Welcome back. 5 red lights are on for the Spanish Grand Prix, and they're out. And it's a good start for Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. Looks like he's already alongside and ahead of the Williams driver. Those two up in front, clear of the rest of the pack. Can Winter go down the inside? No, he goes round the outside. Not quite. But close in through turn 2, not quite. Breaks out and allows Lando Norris the chance to go down his inside through turn 3. Doesn't take it, and Winter on the mediums keeps P2 ahead of Lando Norris. In the McLaren on softs, yes he is. As we head towards Max Verstappen now, through the DRS zone we go. Now DRS is enabled. Where's Williams going to go? It looks like he's going to go round the outside into turn 1, braking. He's already ahead into the corner, and there's a contact between the Red Bull and the Williams driver as Max got damage. It looked like it was a fairly light contact, but you never know in these cars. Glue stick could be used anywhere, especially with Red Bull and the cost cap. So, on board with the Williams driver here. And then into turn 1, he's got less grip than the Red Bull, but he's got much better speed, and he just seems to take the corner normally. So, not quite sure what happened there. I think Max just turned in on him then. I don't know, we'll have to have a look at Max's on board, of which we have now. Towards the inside, Max has gone, because the Williams driver goes around his outside. Into turn 1, he goes on the curb and he turns in. He straightens up his steering wheel and turns into the Williams driver there. So any damage is solely on the Red Bull driver there. Although, let's have a look again. Slow-mo into the corner. It does look very tight for Max there. That's about half car length still on the circuit, and yeah, he's just forced onto the curb. And obviously you never want to be on the curb, so he's backed out and made contact with the Williams driver. Could Max have avoided that, but with the space he got, would have been very difficult. But stewards have given the Williams driver a 5-second penalty for that, and as we go towards the pit stops now, Winter still not making a pit stop on those mediums, as we hear over the radio that he is going long on these tyres. Lap 38 now, as we go through, following the Williams driver on those mediums, over half the race distance. Not really what you would expect from the mediums. At the hards you would expect to do this distance, but you kind of expect the mediums to do the other half of this distance, as the hards can go really long, and Pirelli was suggesting that they'd go at least half the race distance, as go back to lap 37, and he's making progress. He's lapped drivers for the first time this season in Championship 59, should I say, not this season, because it's the first time he's in Championship 59, and he's made a mistake as he's gone onto the curb. Can he keep it out of the wall? Yes, he can. He's going to have to take a trip through the gravel now, but that is extremely that could have been extremely costly, as he goes, he's fine, but he could have been in the wall there, and that would have ended his race, and that would have continued his no-win streak through this season. And oh my god, that was so close for the Williams driver there. Let's take a look at the replay and just see what happened there. So, going through sector 3, turn 10, meets the apex, then goes through turn 11, just gets on the curb, and the curb spits him off. Gets no closer to the barrier than he ever was, judging by that on board. So luckily he's not out of this race, and he can continue his march on trying to close down the points gap to Max Verstappen. And a note on that, actually, realised just after the race that this morning actually that the points tally was incorrect, due to Verstappen's penalty, Charles's penalty in Imola. So the points tally goes as follows. I don't actually know. I know the points tally for this race. Max will be on +3 points from now on. This will all be edited, so you won't need to worry about that. +3 from now on. Charles will have -10, and Vettel will be +7. At the moment, Max leads the championship in P1, followed by Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel in 3rd. If I can remember correctly, Winter down in 6th place, but this victory, plus the 2 other podiums he's had this season, which is very bizarre to say at the moment, they should push him up into P4 in the championship at the moment. Not quite sure on the points gap between him and Max in 1st place, but you can bet my bottom dollar that it will be closed in by 11 points if Sebastian Vettel stays in P2 ahead of Max. Looking at the gap, it's very likely that will happen. Charles Leclerc down in P6, not a really good race for him, and I'll just have to wait and see if he can close in those points that he's lost out today. As Winter comes round the final corner, I hate doing that, and comes across the line to win his first race in Championship 59, and is spinning across the line in celebration. Hopefully that didn't cause him any damage, and the FIA will not penalise him from this race, as Vettel should finish P2. So get ready for the 5 red. I hate doing this twice. Let's get ready for the 5 red lights. 5 red lights go out, and Max Verstappen gets a good start and is looking to pull alongside the Williams driver and gets ahead of the Williams driver. There's movement in the middle of the pack as the Red Bull takes P1. Williams driver tries to go around the outside and on the inside of turn 2, but doesn't quite make it. Just as allow an opportunity for Lando Norris, not quite, as Lando stays in P3, not really utilising these soft tyres at the moment, as Max absolutely utilises these tyres from the beginning of the race. Kind of expected Williams driver to drop down on these mediums. Let's see if he can hang with the soft runners and jump them when they make their pit stop later in the race. I do expect them to drop down a couple more positions due to the closeness of the field this season and the tyre disadvantage on this Williams. Although he does seem to be staying quite ahead of Lando Norris at the moment, so maybe Winter has a lot more pace than I necessarily expected. As we go to lap 3 onto lap 4 now. He's so close. He's got the DRS. He's going to try and make the move. It looks like he's been held up by Max the entirety of this race so far. Let's go into turn 1 on the helicopter cam. There is contact, and it looks like Verstappen just turns in, straightens up the steering wheel and turns into the Williams driver there. Not really sure though. Could put blame on. Still put blame on the Williams driver for turning in on squeezing him. As we go through lap 37, he's made a mistake and he's gone through the grass, and he'll have to go through the gravel trap. Hopefully no floor damage for him after getting floor damage, most likely from the contact with Max. But if he did, it did not matter, as he still won the race. The formation lap was okay and the tyre temperatures were okay, but the start of the race was not the best. Although it's, in retrospect, it's actually one of the best I've had so far. At the start, Verstappen got me into turn 1, and the caution, being cautious of the AI turning in on me, I backed out into turn 2. I did not want 2-3 starts like Miami. I waited only till lap 4 or to retake P1, as the DRS meant Max was now holding me up. However, through turn 1 I did not give him a lot of room. This meant he took the curb on the apex, and to get off the curb he straightened up his steering wheel and we hit. This gave him minor damage to his front wing, but it did not cost him too much. I believe that it did cost him. This did result in a self-penalised 5-second penalty. However, the rest of the race was pretty quiet, and the only real note was a mistake around lap 37 after I hit the apex curb of turn 11, and the curb spat me close to the barrier and through the gravel. It only cost me 10 seconds and some tyre wear. However, as my strategy was changed from mediums to softs on lap 34 and 50, to mediums to softs on lap 42 and 54, there was, however, no problems, as there's an easy victory to get my first win in Championship 59. Now, to fully quote, to reference the points, Max is now on 115 instead of what the game says 112. Charles Leclerc, the game says 103. He's actually on 93, and that's right. Vettel. Can't remember what points the game said he is on. I am checking now. the game says he is on 89 points, but that has been changed to 96. This does result in the gaps being as followed. 22 from Max to Charles. 50. I should have calculated this earlier. Oh, Vettel goes ahead of Charles. Whoops. Anyway, 19 to Vettel, and 55 to me. No, 52 to me. Anyway, the rest doesn't matter because they're not in the championship fight. I shouldn't be fighting them. So if you do really want me to update the gaps, I will do so. But to quote Kimmy,